And by stability training, what I mean, it's a kind of reactive type of training, in so much as, if you can imagine doing a hand plank as an example. So you're on your hands here, your body's in a nice straight line and your feet are touching the floor down here. What you were then asked to do is lift an arm from the floor. Now, a stable body will stay in exactly the same position on one hand as it does on two hands. So the hips stay level, they don't weight shift from side to side, they don't rotate like that when you lift the arm up, they stay centered. The same with the shoulders. You may feel other muscles working or different parts of the body working, that's normal, but the body stays in the right place. That shows the muscles are activating or contracting at the right time. So when you lift that arm up off the floor or hand up off the floor, muscles need to contract to hold the body in place. So again, with regards to this type of training, it doesn't need to be high rep to start with, because you may only do the reps that can be done, or you may do a low amount of reps, have a break, talk about the exercise. Okay, were my hips rolling? Were my hips rotating? Were my shoulders coming out of position? And things like that, and then going back to just doing 3 or 4, 5 more reps. So in the early stages, you don't need to do lots of reps, because with regards to stability training, there is no point in, or balance training, there is no point in aiming to do 20 reps, but the first 5 are good and the next 15 aren't, because you're not developing that system. So you would get a very crisp, clean 5 reps, and then you would move up 6, 8, 10, 15, 20. But they, all the time, they would be nice, clean, crisp reps. This is a similar thing when we come into a rehab style training. If we take monster walks as an example, so monster walks are where you've got your feet on the floor, so obviously I'm using my hands as my feet. You've got a band going around both feet, and then you step forward. Now, this is a similar thing that we talked about with the hand plank. Now, when you step forward in a monster walk, what you want is your feet to go forward in a straight line. And then you step forward and you essentially stay on like tram lines or train tracks. But what happens with a lot of people is when they pick their foot off the floor, the foot curls in and comes back out, and then it lands. It curls back in, curls out, then it lands. Curls in, curls out, then it lands. That shows me, as the trainer, the muscles in the hip that are controlling that. Obviously, it's a very long lever. The muscles that are controlling that aren't doing their job properly. So I would obviously, after a couple of reps, once I've noticed that happening, I would stop them. I would then reinforce what I'd already said. I want you to keep your feet in a straight line. They may only be able to do that for 3 or 4 reps, then that's how many they do. And then slowly, as they build competence with it, and it builds sort of, it ingrains in the brain or in the nervous system essentially, then we start to develop the reps. Now, what you could do is you could start off with a low rep and then say push an extra 2. So you get clean 6 reps. And you go, right, now I'm going to do 8. But the last 2 are keep kicking in. If it's the last 2 that are kicking in, that's not a bad thing, because you know now you're at your limit. So you can focus on those last 2 to get them right. If it was the first 2, then it would be more of a problem, because then you'd have to stick to the first 2, as I've described already. So when it comes to sort of balance, stability, rehabilitation, this is about getting the right muscles working at the right time. And certainly in rehabilitation, that is something that's very important because we want the muscles to time properly and we want them to work in a proper sequence. So by getting sort of individual muscles working properly, what we can then start to do is integrate them into bigger movements with the idea that they will, one, start to work properly, but more importantly, the individual will know what they need to do. So you could take that monster walk example of getting the hips to work properly and then transfer that into a squat. And how that works, now I'm starting to lean into exercise selection a little bit more, which isn't necessarily part of it, but I will describe it. Obviously in a squat, your feet aren't coming off the floor. So there could be an argument that you can't correlate, because in monster walks, you're walking, and in a squat, you've got both feet stuck on the floor. But what I'm thinking is using the monster walks to get the hip muscles working properly. And then once I know that those hip muscles are working more effectively, when we go into, say, a squat and we drive the knees out, it's going to be much easier for the individual because those muscles, they understand how they work. Because when they squat, their knee may drop in. And again, that's another way of doing it. Get band around someone's knees. As they squat, their knee drops in. Okay, use the band to push the band out. So that's another way of doing it. So there are lots of different ways of getting muscles to do what you want them to do. But essentially, you can train smaller muscles and then integrate them into another exercise and get them working in another exercise more effectively. Just by doing monster walks doesn't mean that they'll work properly in a squat. That's one thing that kind of gets misunderstood. If someone does, loads of one exercise, then they go, well, I can do that exercise really well, which then means I can do that exercise really well, which isn't necessarily the case. With regards to frequency and how often you should do sort of balance, stability and rehab type exercises, if it's rehab, it depends where you are with regards to the injury. So if you're quite close to the episode of the injury and you're coming out in the initial rehab, you may do more often, but very small doses, rather than one big dose and then leave it for 3 days, because you keep getting that input, but it's not putting a huge stress on the system. If it's more stability training, you may do a bigger dose in a whole workout or a large portion of a workout, and then you may have a couple of days rest to allow everything to settle back down. And then with rehab, you would do a similar thing. Like I mentioned, you do that small dose very close. So it may be sort of lower rep, lower load or weight or whatever, lower. So it may be just one set of 6 reps, but you do 3 exercises that are sort of slightly different. And that may be it. So it takes 5-10 minutes. But you may do that every day. But as you build, and you build up to a 15-20 minute workout, you may take that from every day to every other day and then build up to 3 times a week within a half an hour session or an hour session or 45-minute session. So again, there's lots of sort of different ways of building it, but all the way through all of this, you're trying to build capacity in a sensible way. So with strength training, it's maintaining form all the way through, but also applying the load. With endurance training, again, it's maintaining the form, but you want to push each time to a degree of fatigue. And then with stability training, you're just looking at more so the technique of how to perform the exercise and getting the body to line up properly, which in a roundabout way is sort of showing you how the muscles are working if you know how to break exercises down or break exercises down into certain muscles. And then you've got to rebuild all of that from smaller exercises into bigger exercises, but make sure during the bigger exercises, the muscles that were working in the smaller exercises are still doing their job in the bigger exercises, because just by doing the smaller exercise doesn't mean that it's going to do it in the bigger exercise. You have to make sure all of that works. But you've built it from a solid foundation. So if we just quickly go back to the monster walks, generally with the monster walks, you'll feel the muscles of the hip working. So you know that they can work, you know what it feels like when they are working. So when you go into a squat and you perform it in a certain way, you should be able to go, yeah, I can feel my hip muscles working. Okay, good. So we've gone from that small exercise and transferred that learning into the big exercise. So that's sort of a very simple way of doing it. But with regards to stability training, it can be as low as 3 or 4 reps. It could be as low as 1 set, and then you would build up into, say, 3 sets of 20 reps or whatever, depending on the goal that you were trying to achieve from it. But then you would probably be mixing in endurance training and strength training with all of that. So then it just becomes a big mishmash of different exercises, reps, sets, so on and so forth. So hopefully that's given you a better insight into how to choose sets, reps, and how many times per week. Hopefully it's given you some examples, and hopefully you'll be able to sort of choose that for yourselves, or at least have a better idea of what exercises require what type of reps and sets. So many thanks for watching. If you've liked the content, hit the like button. If you learned something new, hit the thanks button. If you want to watch more of these, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you've got a comment or a question, please do stick it down below.